welcome to another exciting episode of The Energy That Surrounds Us. I'm your host, Michael, and tonight's episode, I have to admit, is one that I am excited for, not only because of who our guest is, but also because this is our third attempt to make this episode happen. And so I'm like, I have an air of thrill and yet a air of caution as to, are we going to make it to the end? Because something's always come up to where we could not make the episode, from having no internet the night of to schedule conflicts. So I am so honored and blessed to welcome to the show Kimberly, Michelle, and Squirrel, also known as the Soul Sisters Supernatural. So welcome finally to the show.
Thank you, Michael.
Hi, guys.
So I could not justly describe each of you as to what each of you do for the team and everything. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys to introduce yourselves. And I think just from the name, we need to start with Squirrel.
Well, my real name is Katie, but we adapted the name Squirrel because well, we can go into that later. but I like to consider myself the scientist of the group. So my day job is I am a scientist. So, and I met the girls out in the field where we were ghost hunting, and we just vibed well, and we just formed our group and became best friends. And yeah, we had a lot of fun together. So I feel like we all take different roles when we ghost hunt. Like, I feel like, yeah, even though we say medium, scientist, and sensitive, that I feel like we all bring some, like, more than what we are to the team together. So, yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
I'm Michelle. I'm the medium, although I hate saying that. I am very sensitive. I'm an empath. I'm the one that kind of goes in ahead of time. I don't like to know what's going on if we are doing an investigation, because I kind of like to pick up things on my own first. Usually they're pretty spot on, even though I still don't trust myself after all these years. But I'm also a healthy skeptic. So we do debunk a lot of things, but we've had some unbelievable experiences as of late as well that we can't explain. So hopefully we can get into some of that.
Yeah. And I'm Kim. Hi, guys. So Michelle and I are true by blood sisters. We've always been into the paranormal since we were young. We actually grew up in a house that was quite haunted. Kind of going with your like poltergeist house almost a little bit. And so we had a lot of interaction, a lot of stuff that happened to us as kids. So I guess I've always been kind of the sensitive in a way where I would sense things, I would hear things. As we've done more of these investigations, we've been doing this now for probably 4 or 5 years. The true investigations, I've definitely noticed a lot of my sensitivity has become even, well, I guess more in tune with the spiritual world. I do hear them at night. They like to scream in my ear sometimes. Michelle gets that experience as well. And then we obviously adopted our squirrel, especially as our other soul sister, not by true blood, but basically by blood. So.
No, very cool. And I love the dynamic there because it's rare to see like siblings get along enough side by side to go and like have all these adventures. And I'm starting to notice a trend in the paranormal where you're starting to see like parents and kids or siblings doing it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, we actually, one of the last investigations we went on, there was a couple of like mom and daughter groups, which was really nice to see too.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious, Squirrel, being the scientist you are, I know there's certain frameworks like, you like to test a lot of things and everything. And so, God, I can't even remember from my science days what that process was known as. I know it started with an H, but it's like my mind's blanking out. But what do you feel like is the most interesting to you working with a sensitive and a medium? Going, my science mind just cannot wrap around what you guys are doing, but I want to believe. So does that happen a lot with you?
Yeah, so before the group, like I know that I've had growing up, right? You have for example, I thought I saw like a shadow figure like in my doorway when I was in 6th grade, and even back then I was like, I don't know what I was probably dreaming, or like even like my parents were like, oh, you're probably dreaming, it wasn't anything. But knowing that I saw that, like I brought it in, like it was always like a battle in my mind, like because it's like I know, like by the book, like I like to see numbers, and I'm very methodical and analytical. So that's actually my field, is analytical chemistry. So, and the girls know that it takes me a lot to like debunk it. Like I try to go step by step, and I try to rule out everything I can until I realize, okay, there's nothing left. It has to be this. So the girls have helped me actually open up also, like to the abnormal, right? like it's something out there that like I can't see it. I know the girls can see it way more than I can, but even like with us working together, I've noticed that, like, right, girls, like that I've actually like been, I'll be like, I don't know what I saw, but they know I saw something, and I don't want to admit it because to me it sounds crazy. So I think that they've helped me open up, where I'm now in this like middle. But yeah, but then I talk to people I work with and they think I'm crazy. so those are always fun when we have conferences.
You're crazy in a good way, though.
And I told the girls about this. Like I got a phone call from a coworker, and it was like at night, and I'm thinking, what could they be calling me about? And they're like, you work with like ghosts, right? And I was like, wait a second now, like, yeah, like this is like, I haven't talked to you in years, and like that's the question I get. And they're like, well, my girlfriend is seeing something, like, what do you think it is? And I'm like, well, what does she see? Like, so like that kind of like, just like that, like where it's like, oh, okay, well, just broadening in my horizons, I guess. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and what's funny is, as you were talking, it's like, I love how the brain works. Is I see right across my brain hypothesis, and I'm like, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I know, and we had talked backstage, and I said I had one question to start out with for all of you, and that was, and believe me, they've had no prep time for this, so their answer is going to be pure and true to themselves. That is, what is the paranormal to you? Each of you, how do you define and view the paranormal?
Who wants to go first?
I guess I can. I mean, basically for me, like the paranormal is just basically your all encompassing unknown. So the things that we are still trying to figure out, but will we ever really get those answers? So that is also like, I mean, paranormal, I think it extends beyond, just spirits. And like we were actually speaking about in the back room, is like, we actually do involve ourselves with cryptids. We were on a podcast about Bigfoot. Michelle and I have taken a ufology track. So we are into all of those things. So we like everything that's basically the unknown, and something that, challenges our minds and expands our horizons quite a bit, at least for me.
Kind of what she said. I mean, paranormal to me is, I think everything is normal in its own space and time. But for us living here, it's anything that our brains can't make sense out of. I've had these gifts my whole life, and it's really disconcerting sometimes when you get touched or you hear someone talking when you're home alone. things. I'll hear big things bang, and I've seen things pop in and out of existence right in front of me. I am of the mind that the paranormal is just other dimensions that we can't see. But they're all around us, and some of us can interact because we open up our minds more than others. But I do believe everyone has the gift, quote unquote. It just depends on how close-minded you are. But yeah, we do definitely, we've seen UFOs. You know, we love the cryptid track, which for us, we've seen a lot of little dudes, not so much Bigfoot yet, although that would be amazing and scary. And then spirits, black shadows. I mean, just about anything. We've had quite a bit of experiences over time. So to be close-minded at this point would just be, it would be weird for me. So
that says a lot, being a paranormal investigator. Because we dabble in the weird, so.
Right.
Yeah, and same for me. I just feel like it's everything, the unexplained. I mean, it encompasses UFOs, the cryptids. The girls know that we've come across elementals out there, and the elementals is just like that was. I didn't even know that existed until we started diving into this, and then. I mean, it's not every day you see a bush move, right, girls? Like, so, and then that's another thing. Like, but yeah. So I mean, for me, it's the unexplained, and then just making sure and that we're paranormal investigators or paranormal researchers, and both of those, like, just getting out there and just trying to find answers, basically, like to try. And are we ever going to have the answers? No, but it's still fun to find them.
And Squirrel, I feel like I want to share with you. I grew up with shadow beings around me all the time, playing like games and stuff. So I would venture to say you probably, I would say, very likely did see a shadow person that one time. So don't discredit it. If you feel like you saw it, claim it. You saw it.
And the worst part was it was my sister's voice, so that was even more scarier. Because then, like the girls know, like I was like, all of a sudden now there's doppelgangers, and I was like, oh my god, that's what it was too. Like, because I thought she was home and she wasn't home, so that was even more creepier. That it was like her voice with the shadow figure, and then that's why I was like, she's playing a trick on me, but nope, she wasn't home. So,
ooh, a mimic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yep, that's the other. Yep. So it's nice that when I found the girls that it's like I didn't sound so crazy with these things. Like they looked at me like, oh yeah, that's normal. Like that's normal. Like this is okay. I've been here for years. It's not.
That's our normal.
Yeah.
It might not be normal, but
it's not the normal, but it's our normal.
It's like you see in the paranormal field now. You see a lot of people going, "This is my tribe." Like, yeah, exactly. You get it.
Yep.
I even remember like going to Doug's house, like one of the. Sorry. I call Kim Doug. So when I say Doug, I mean Kim. But because Doug and Squirrel, like the movie Up. So like
that's I'm the Doug to our Squirrel.
Yeah.
Never watched the movie Up.
It keeps slipping out. I'm sorry. But when I visited her and I was just unpacking, and we weren't even investigating, I was just visiting, and I think I was just putting down my bag, right, Doug? And then like I think like all of a sudden I saw, because she has a little golden doodle named Waffles, and I swear I saw her go by me and go under the bed. And I'm like, oh, hi, Waffles, like talking to Waffles, like she's there. And then the Doug comes in and is just like, well, have you seen Waffles? And I was like, yeah, she's under the bed, and I'm not even thinking anything. She looks under the bed and she's not there. And I was like, well, what? And like, and right, Doug, like you tell me like who it was.
It was my cat. My cat had passed away quite a while ago, a couple years ago, but she was brown. She was an Abyssinian. And she was older when she passed. Like Michelle had, I don't want to say forced me to adopt her, but I wasn't really a cat person. I'm more of a dog person. But she needed rescuing. And so I'd rescued her. But when she passed, she used to always go into the guest bedroom all the time and go and play behind the bed. And she was brown, like I said. So I've seen her in the past, but that's exactly what Squirrel saw. So Squirrel saw our Kit. I used to call her Kit.
And I don't think I believed it at all. Like when she told me this, I was like, no.
I was like, oh, you just heard Kit. No big deal.
It was so normal. It's a ghost cat. So So that was pretty cool, like, because that was the first time I actually really saw it, like, recently, like, since I was a kid, So, and it was, and to see it in color, too, because normally, like, I didn't know you could see colors, like, of that, so.
Yeah.
And that brings up an interesting point. When we go and check out these locations and everything, we're always trying to talk to, like, the quote-unquote grown-up spirits or the kid spirits, but we never try to talk to the animal spirits.
Right.
And, I'm starting to wonder, why is it that we never assume or never try to go, hey, was there a dog here? Was there a cat here? Was there a bird here? Because, likelihood is there probably was, and that could be what we're hearing.
Well, I did catch a really strange photo at the Conjuring house when we were out back, and this was the last time we were there before everything went crazy. But we live in Rhode Island, so it's obviously not too far from us. And I got this photo that was from the backyard facing the house, and if you press on it, like a live photo, you can see an image of almost a dog that's jumping and then running. There was nothing there. There was no dog outside with us. And it's crazy because it's absolutely lit up. It's the form of almost like a lab, basically. And you can see it running and jumping in my picture when you press the live.
And we heard like barking that night inside the house.
Yep.
But there was no dog.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
And then didn't I see another kitty there? And I thought it was like right behind you, Michelle. And then remember it was like
yes.
a great,
yeah.
And then once again that was normal. Like I was like I don't think
in my house I talk to the ghost cats all the time because there's quite a few of them around here. I do cat rescue, so I've been through a lot of death, unfortunately, with a lot of them. But some of them stick around. They pop in and out. It's kind of cool.
I'm starting to notice a trend, though, that Squirrel seems to find all the ghost cats.
Apparently, like the two. That was the only thing. And I saw the gray too, which was I forgot one of you girls saw my face though when I saw it. Right? I remember it was both of you. One of you did, and then I don't even think I said anything. I just was just staring.
That's because cats and dogs like squirrels.
That's true.
And so, what are some of the fun adventures that you guys have been able to partake in?
We've done a lot. Like from Ohio State Reformatory to Joliet Prison. Michelle and I went to Wales with a group.
The country Wales?
Sorry?
The country Wales?
Yes, Wales.
Yes. Yep. We investigated Ancient Ram Inn, which was in England. Michelle and I are also going to Ireland, and we're going to be investigating Leap Castle this coming Halloween night.
I know who you're investigating with then.
Brian Kano in the group?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's a good friend of ours. He's actually our mentor as well. And that's who I was telling you we were taking ufology. So we take that track with Brian. So yeah, we're all good friends. But we're going to Ireland, so very exciting. But we just did Wayside Inn too, which is in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
The three of us did that. That was unbelievable. We had such a great experience there.
I wish I remembered the last time we were trying to have the episode, because you guys were saying, oh, we had this really cool adventure and this cool experience, and it's so great. We're going to be able to share it on the show. And then
it was that.
Oh, okay.
It was Wayside Inn. We had just gone there. We were supposed to do that podcast right after that.
Yeah.
Beginning of March, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess we can talk about that.
Yeah, we had like a great EVP too that I did kind of like, I can actually send it to you afterwards, Mike, but it was unbelievable, like some of the things we captured there.
Where was Squirrel during all of this? Because I keep hearing we were doing this, we were doing that.
Oh no, the three of us were together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the three of us were together for Wayside Inn. So we rented out. There's 2 rooms, 9 and 10, and my stepson actually got me the room 10 for like a a Christmas gift, and knowing I was going to invite the girls. But then when we got there, room 9 was actually available. So we're like, we're taking room 9 too, because those were the two. And they like open up. So basically it becomes one big room almost, well, interconnecting rooms. So, yeah, the three of us investigated all night. And as soon as we opened up that room to room 9, we ended up having so much activity once we opened up the rooms.
Yeah. And there's so many like letters there that other guests have left behind. So that was nice to open and just read their experiences, or so it felt like we were more connected also to like that energy like of the place also. So.
And it was on the anniversary of her death, the one that
yeah, that's right.
Supposedly
that people think they see. Yeah. We think we saw somebody else, but the part that we were staying in is the original part of this house, but now it's a huge inn. I think it was a tavern back then when it started, which the bar is still there, but they had a huge fire, but they managed to save this part, and they've been building on. And we found out after, like the next day when we were checking out, that Henry Ford, he has a trust now and kind of took over this place, so it's always taken care of. And she felt the night once we went to bed, we were getting some weird EVPs. And then we finally went to bed. It must have been like 3:30 in the morning. And Squirrel's in the other room sleeping, and Kim and I were sharing the other bed. And all of a sudden I heard footsteps, and I could hear them walking by the bed. And once I got in front of the bed, I could see the outline of a figure, like an energy outline. And he was standing at the foot of where she was sleeping. And she looked at me, and I didn't even know she was awake yet. I was going to wake her up. She just said, somebody just pulled my blankets, right? Is that what it was? Or messed with your feet? I can't remember.
Someone pulled my blanket, and I sat up and I went, what the heck was that? And you went, oh my God. I was just
like, oh, you mean the guy sitting at the end of the bed that's super tall? Well, again, we knew no history about this place yet as far as that went. And the night before, Kim actually caught another figure in the mirror that would have been pretty tall in that same area. We had a lot of weird things in that one area. But we saw a picture the next day of Henry Ford, and he was super tall, and it was his favorite place. And we were right above the old part where he had actually added on and lived there for a while. So it was pretty good.
And we even got something about a car in the
in the EVPs.
So
it was like the cars here.
We really felt like it was Henry Ford that was actually with us that night, not so much the woman that they were claiming. But yeah, we had a lot of I do get photos in mirrors a lot, which is kind of, everybody says, go take the photos in the mirrors. So I've got like a photo of I like to call it my ghost photo, but Wilson Castle, I got somebody in the mirror when it was just 3 of us girls in there investigating, and I was just taking like 3 in a row. And I got a gentleman that's dressed in an 1800s tuxedo with someone's hand on his shoulder, like there's a ring reflecting in it. And it's not like a blurry photo. It's actually, if you zoom in, you can see him sitting in the chair, but he's too tall. So there's a lamp in front of it, and you just see like right up to here, but you can see the 1800 like tuxedo. My second photo is of orbs, which I'm not a huge believer of, but because I did 3 shots in a row, and this was my second one within 2 seconds. And then my third one, if you zoom in, there's nobody sitting in the chair. So I had Michelle, when I saw the photos, I had Michelle sit in the chair, and you could see that like it was literally a man sitting in that chair.
Probably about a foot taller than me.
Yeah, definitely taller than Michelle. But yeah, so, and then like Ancient Ramin, I got a woman standing, like you can see her full figured leg. It's really weird. Coming out of a wall in the witch's room. I was the only one in the house. I had to run back in because Michelle's like, you didn't take pictures of the mirrors. So I ran back in, I'm taking snapshots, and then I run back out to the bus, and I'm like, oh my God, guys, do you see this? And it's a woman with a white dress on. It looks like she has a veil. You can only see half of her body. Basically, you never see the faces in my pictures in the mirrors, which I'm kind of happy about. I don't know if there's a reason for that, but I think it might be, because if it is like another dimension or something like that, or maybe we don't want to see what they look like. I don't know.
I know that it's so cool, like how her pictures always look like it's like as if they're just like they're transferring from like one spot to the next or something through it, right? Like like and it's just like even the photo. Yeah, and even at the wayside, like I think that because we had the spirit talker going like one of our apps, and that didn't something come up say like picture.
It said,
that's what I did.
And so then she's like, okay.
And she clicked and she got the picture.
Yeah. And I get this man like in the, like just this black version. Like you don't really see any definition to him, but you can see like the outline and in his reflection, in the reflection of the mirror.
Yeah. So. And then we were debunking that too, where she was just taking pictures from the same angle, like, and there was nothing, like, it was nothing in the room that was furniture. Michelle was in the other room, like, so it's just so weird that, like, it's a cool weird.
So, interesting question with the mirrors. Was there a mirror on the other side, like the other wall facing it, or reflective?
No, it was a door.
It was a door.
Yeah.
That never used to be a door, so that was another weird thing. But yeah, no, it was just there was a chair that I was sitting in, like a comfy chair, and I was kind of shooting up. And then it was funny because when I did take like 3 or 4 photos after it said take pictures, the other ones just have squirrels sitting on the floor with the REM pod and all of our gadgets, and there's nothing in the mirror, no reflection. And then it's like one of them you can actually see the figure, which is where I was sleeping next to too. Like if you can kind of picture it, it's like that's where my blanket got tugged. Like we were doing the
the Oculus.
Well, Squirrel, you have those
right?
the what do you call those things?
Oh, it's like the goggles that you like put on, like
the sensory deprivation.
Yeah.
So you can't hear, you can't see. It's just like this red. Right, like a red light.
Well, no, that was we were doing the Seer app through the VHR, right?
Yeah.
That you have those VHR goggles.
Yeah. And so like it's like you guys are saying, like sensory deprivation, where all you're like you're just zoning out, and like you're just your eyes are getting used to kind of like the magic eye, like those like games you used to play, like and it's like, but you're literally just like trying to tune. And I know like Michelle had some crazy stuff like happening, like
the same area that we got that reflection. So I was in front of the door. And all of a sudden, I saw this skeletal hand come to about here in my field of vision with these goggles, so I can't see anything. And I said, I'm done. That's it. Took them off. Like, nope.
Literally did. Squirrel and I were in the other room. She's like, nope, no more of this.
Yeah, I could see why that would be. But the reason I was asking about the mirrors is there's talks of where mirrors, like if you have a mirror on one side and the other side, they can jump between the mirrors. They're like portals for them. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I was curious, because Squirrel was saying it looked like they were jumping from one spot to another, going, oh, are they going from one mirror to another? And you caught it. And so that's why I was curious.
I did this one investigation in Poughkeepsie. It was this theater that was going to be getting torn down. And we were in this bar room, and there were these 2 mirrors, and they were really high up above our heads. And I'm sitting with my back to one of them, and all of a sudden I got the worst feeling. And I saw 3 different shadow figures in the mirror, one back, another one moving, and one of them started to come up really close. And I stood up and I was like, I'm out of here, because the mirrors were facing. I'm very leery with mirrors. I've seen things in mirrors and that kind of freaks me out. But I got up and there was another medium there, and she looked at me. She goes, did you just see those 3 figures coming up towards the front of the glass? I went, yep, that's why I'm leaving. And she's like, I'm right behind you. And we walked out into the other part of the theater. I don't like to take my chances because I've come across some darker things in the past. I mean, we don't run into stuff too often, but I just like to be safe. If I get that flight feeling, I just trust it. So
probably smart.
Yeah, speaking of mirrors, we did the psychosemantium, like in the Conjuring House too. I think was I with you, Michelle?
Yeah, you with me.
And like, no. Like, we're leaving.
No, because Michelle started to see me like in front of her.
Yeah.
So we were all 3 of us were sitting there. Michelle's like, oh my God. And she's like, and then I looked straight ahead and I could see some weird, like disfiguring stuff happening to my face. And I went, oh, no, I'm not doing this. And we were in the basement of the Conjuring house. I went upstairs. I left them to it. I was like, nope, not my thing.
I love psychomantiums.
Oh, they freak me out when I do them, but I don't like it.
Although, I will say though, mirror rooms where they're all mirrors on every wall freak me out, and doll rooms. Those are my two. I'm like, do I have to go in this room? Do I?
I'm not the biggest fans either. So
not of dolls.
No.
Glad I'm not the only one.
No.
They just look too real, some of them. So I think you can psych yourself out, but some of them are just so creepy.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That was remember Johnny Zappis's like his haunted objects, like there were so many dolls in there. And it was just
he has a lot of dolls.
Well, you're not alone, Michael. A lot of people don't like dolls, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I find myself when I'm looking at all the dolls, it's like I keep trying to focus on all of them at the same time because I'm like, okay, if one of you is moving, I want to know before it's too late. If you're jumping at me or something, it's like I need to know who's moving first. And it's like you can't watch them all. It's like that's the unnerving part is because then you're like, wait, did that one move? Oh wait. Now I looked away from that one. Did that one move?
You're like, was that hand where it is now? Like, that doesn't. No. I think that thing moved. Slowly coming towards me.
I feel like that should be like the test for people to see if they can handle doing adventures, sitting in a room with dolls and going, okay, do you come out sane or do you come out like, oh my God?
It's like that island of the dolls. Nope.
Well, I do want to go there.
Oh, I don't know. You say that now.
Come on, Michelle. We gotta do that.
Yeah, I probably would do it because I'm an idiot, but
girl, you're into. We would definitely have fun there.
Let's be honest. You get an invitation, you're taking it.
Of course. Absolutely. I mean, for years we were like, we're not going to the Conjuring house. We're not going to the Conjuring house. And then we were like, screw it. We live less than 40 minutes away from there. And it was
like 25, yeah.
Yeah, and it was back when things were better, normal. And we had an awesome first invest. It was our first one, right? That was really good.
Yeah.
So we had a couple of good investigations there. So I'm glad we actually got in there because we definitely determined it's all elemental energy there. So it's a different feeling if you ever go. If you're sensitive at all, you'll feel it for sure. But
yeah.
So my next question
with all the dolls that we went to, though, that was
what?
Where did we stay? That was with my room was with all the dolls, and I couldn't even stay in there.
Oh, way up in Pennsylvania, Midway.
Yeah, it has like a Ouija board on the roof.
On the roof.
Yeah,
that we took a picture with.
And the room that I was scheduled to stay in because I thought I was brave, Michael, was the doll room and literally covered in dolls. I decided when I saw it, I'm not staying in this room. There is no way in hell I'm going to be able to sleep here. It was bad. And someone else slept in there, which they had a great time, but
we cleared it. That's why. Yeah. So we ended up, this was actually really interesting. So this room has the guy, he's friends with Brian Kano. He said people have left there in the middle of the night that have stayed in that room, have just left. People hate that room. Bad things happen in there. They get freaked out. So once we went in there and she was like, no, not staying, we decided to go back in and kind of just investigate it. And we kind of, one of the techniques we use is we sit around and we joke and we just shoot the shit. Because I don't know about you, but I would not want to be asked a million times what my name is. We figure it's more interesting. If there's spirit interacting with us, they probably want to hear our stupid shit instead of that. So
yeah,
I can't remember how many. It was probably like 10 of us in this room, and we're talking and laughing. And then we were talking to the spirit that's supposed to be in there. She was like a lady of the night, I guess.
Yeah, it used to be a brothel.
And it was terrible. And I think she ended up getting murdered and raped. It was bad. So I started talking to her and like, hey, you know, I forgot her name now, but I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I can't even imagine. And we're not here to hurt you. Just kind of want to hang out. Maybe we can like make you have a good night for a change. And, you know, we're not scared. And then we start talking. And when we played back the recorder, we heard somebody whistling an entire song while we were talking. And it wasn't any of us. And after that, Brian walked in the room and he looked at us and he goes, what did you guys do? It doesn't feel the same in here. What's going on? And the girl said she had the best sleep of her night, or the best night sleep that night, that stayed in that room. Like nothing happened.
It was like great. A weird humming we heard over all of us. And we're all sitting there. We're like playing it back. We're like, none of us were humming because we wouldn't be doing that.
Well, it was kind of like
it was like, and it was just like, this peacefulness. It was really strange. And then afterwards, I think she just, because we were just talking about our lives and we're laughing and we're having a great time and not trying to be like, what's your name? How did you die? Blah, blah, you know, like not doing the whole like.
What was your profession?
Right, exactly. Do you know you're dead? Oh, it hurts. It hurts to hear that stuff. So yeah, we like to have more of an interactive conversation, and then most of the time that's when they like to come into our conversation, and because I don't feel like we're just like interrogating them.
Yeah, I was on an investigation with Mustafa once, and we were talking to the spirits, and he goes, yeah, I know we're asking you to perform like a performing monkey, and I apologize for that, but can you do this one thing for us one time? And then later on what was funny is later on at night, they were like, we were in this room and they go, oh, you know, we want you to go get somebody. And they go, who? They go, the performing monkey. Oh and so we're like, oh, we got to go get Mustafa. And so we were all cracking up, but they were like, they turned the tables on him.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
So who is some of the groups that you guys have collaborated with that you're like, man, we had the best time with, and some that you're like, well, we did it, we probably won't do it again? You don't have to mention names of them, but have you come across those, or have they all been good experiences?
We love our paranormal peaches.
Yeah.
We haven't actually done an investigation with them. I don't know if you know Taryn, but we're I think they're hosting. They're doing something for the Gettysburg thing, but yeah, we wanted to try and do an investigation with them. We have not been able to collaborate yet. A lot of time, I hate to say it, but it's like there's so much drama in the paranormal world. Like there's so much unnecessary paradrama. That's what we like to call it.
Yep.
And we don't want to like become so part of that. Like we try to almost keep ourselves a little bit of a distance just because of that. I feel like there's just too much.
I mean, we've worked with like Dave Schrader and Shane Pittman. They're awesome to investigate with. Really nice guys. Brian's always been great. He's more on the skeptical side than a lot of them, but he's fun to investigate with.
Oh, Dustin and Ziggity.
We've
investigated with them.
Schrader, though, that surprises me because he has his aura of him of being on the shows as this strict, matter of fact, straight. You know, like,
he's awesome.
His nickname is Snuggles for us. That's his nickname. So. And we have our own nicknames, but no, he is like the funnest, sweetest guy you will ever meet. I mean, yes, even when we met him, we were like, wow, this is not what I was expecting at all.
Like a giant teddy bear.
Yeah, that's the best way to say it. But I mean, we've done some bigger group things and we don't really enjoy those as much anymore. I mean, the novices are great, you know, because they're trying to learn. But then you get everything's a demon, or like the over dramatic things, and people are so noisy, like they just won't quiet down for when they're trying to do the group stuff, experiments, which can get a little frustrating. So a lot of times now we just rent a spot and we take a few friends and that's it. We just keep it small, keep it light.
Yeah, and we like to have people who haven't investigated that are friends of ours. We did that at that was at
Oliver
Emory.
House before.
Oliver and Emory too, and we had some friends come with us, and you know, like some people, like we like to show them how to use the equipment, and then you know some of the things we've learned, because a lot of the times when we first started out, we were going to a lot of the group ones because we wanted to learn what people were doing, what we liked, what we didn't like, right? And like what were takeaways. So we learned a lot from doing the group investigations, I think, but now we've kind of moved beyond that. We're like, okay, we know what we're doing, so now we kind of want to like show other people too.
Yeah. Once in a while, like we just did Dustin and Ziggity's up in Massachusetts, because we still like to support them because we know that's mostly their job. And if they're in the area, we like to just hang out for the night, and then we get to help them. So it's cool. I mean, it's fun. But otherwise, we just do it on our own.
Yeah, building community.
Yeah,
I also like doing the podcasts too, like this, because then it gets like the chance, like just because with location too, right? Like it gives us a chance to talk to someone that maybe on the other side, or like, oh, what was the one? Oh my gosh, our friend from Australia, right? Like
Gary.
Yeah, Gary.
Yeah, like we've been on his show a couple times, and he's amazing, and it's just nice to like get that para unity, like the way, like in these ways. So.
Yeah, and like Michael, I mean, you're kind of on the other side of the United States right now for us.
I'm in Texas, and Nikki Cameron, who I popped up that was saying good morning, she's in Australia.
Oh, nice.
So I have friends in Japan that watch the show every once in a while, and it's all over. And so, yeah, it's amazing when you sit down and think about, you know, you go on these shows and you never know who's in the audience, and it's like people are getting to experience for the first time everybody, and it's like, and it's in a cool, fun way. It's not the, oh, you know, you're doing this, you're doing that. That's why I like doing conversationalists, because I feel like people get a better view of, you know, and it makes us look more human than, oh, you're those TV people, and think, oh, you're this and this. It's like, no, they're regular people.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it.
So, interesting question that I thought of off of what Kimberly was saying, being from the beginning to where you are now. What growth have you seen, and what advice would you give yourself as the novice being where you are today?
I think for me personally, because I started off as the tech girl and like all of the gadgets, like the girls know, like I have a tool belt of all the gadgets, and I feel like now I think I would tell myself to trust your senses more, or like trust like that, like your body is a tool too, because I feel like I kind of was blindsided, like I would just look at gadgets, and like now it's like, okay, well maybe if I open myself up more like with my sensories, like then like maybe like I would get more than just the tech. So that's for me.
No, that's a really good point, and I think I kind of the same way. I started with gadgets, and now I'm down to like I really just use myself and a body cam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of also learned I am my own equipment. I use a little bit of the equipment, but I'm definitely, technology doesn't work well around me. If I get, and especially if my emotions ramp up, things glitch, they shut down, they do the weirdest things that no one's ever seen. I just have this weird aura about me, I guess. But so I like to just trust my senses. But I would tell my younger self, probably shouldn't have messed with the Ouija board so much. Which I don't think Ouija boards, but I don't think they're inherently bad. I think it's how they're used and who's using it. And as a teenager, you're an idiot. You know, let's face it. Talking to things that you have no idea. And we did have quite a bad experience with that, and had to get a priest into my friend's house. We had to shut this thing down. It took us a while to get rid of it. It didn't want to be gotten rid of. And there was, I don't know if it was a demon or just a lower being, but something that came through that was very interested in myself and my boyfriend at the time. That, what was it, like 5 years ago, one of our friends was using a Ouija board with some people and they wanted my friend, his name is Michael, to play. And he said, absolutely not. We went through some stuff. I don't touch those anymore, especially because I don't know all the people here. And right when they opened it, it spelled out this specific name that I won't say out loud and said that it was really angry that we had broken up. And it wants us together. It must have been our energy because we have a weird connection. We're still best friends, even though we don't date anymore. And then it came up in another thing we were doing. This woman inadvertently opened up some kind of portal type space and the name came through again. And whenever that happens, we just shut it down. That was coming through on our equipment, though. We weren't using a board. So I would just be more cautious, I think. There are things that we don't understand that people sometimes mess with a little too much. So it's interesting, but yeah, safety is definitely key. And I know some people think that's crazy, but being as sensitive as I am, it's a good idea.
No, it's a very valid point. And yeah, I'm kind of impressed by these. I'm like, wow.
All right, Kim, you're up.
Kimberly.
How do I follow that? That was a pretty good one. You girls did well. I'm just going to say I believe in that. No, I mean, basically, like, I guess, oh gosh. I mean, over the years of, like I've said, I've become more and more open. I think it's hard to trust sometimes your own self. Like I've heard people talk to me in my head, but then I think, oh my gosh, I'm crazy. Like I'm just making this up. But then if I say, or like I'll write it down, like that happened to me at Ohio State Reformatory. I had somebody in one of the cells playing with my hair and I could hear him saying, I love your blonde hair. And I could almost like sense his life. Like it was really strange, like the images that were coming to me. But then come to find out, like exactly the cell that we were in, it was right on with everything I was feeling. And I always have a tendency of doubting myself, even though, because it just sounds crazy when you say it out loud, right? Like, oh, somebody's talking to me in my head and I'm seeing images. And it's like, where I am in the mental institution next with a little white jacket on, you know? So I always have to kind of like trust it.
Sorry.
Trust it.
This is Pickles. Pickles, you gotta go. Come on. Down.
Pickles wants to be in the podcast too.
I'm old. I can do what I want.
Yeah, so I guess just kind of trusting your instincts more because I never really, I'm still developing that. Really.
I'm still bad at that, but.
And what I find funny about that, Kimberly, is your sister's a medium who hears voices in her head, and you're sitting there thinking the fact I'm hearing voices in my head makes me loony bin. I'm like,
crazy too.
You realize who you're related to, right?
I mean, it goes back to our dad, to be honest. He used to talk to God. Well, we'll say God. Okay, so he talked to God in the closet. So dad used to literally go into the closet and talk to God, and he would come out knowing things that he probably shouldn't have known. But now we do try to tell dad that we think it might be the spirits that we're telling him too. And that's hence like we have this, you know, unique gift too. Like I think our dad does have it, but he looks at it as more of the spiritual side, like not the spiritual, like we do more of like strict God, Bible, that type of thing. Yeah. So
right.
He worries about our immortal souls pretty regularly. He tells us that. We've tried to explain that we're not into the occult, but you know how there's this misconception, and you know this. I mean, witches aren't bad, but everybody thinks they're bad. Dabbling in any of this, they think you're into the occult when that's not the case. We don't want to talk to Satan. You know, we're not worshiping anything or sacrificing anything.
He thinks we're summoning demons and
but it's not because we grew up in a very religious house and our parents still are. And we've changed quite a bit over the years because we're very inquisitive. I like to learn. And even though I'm very sensitive, I am very into science. So I do read up on all of anything that's got to do with what we're doing. on the technical sides, but it's hard. It's hard growing up in a house like that and knowing that you're different. And we just couldn't say anything for years. I mean, now we're older and we're like, well, the hell with it now. I mean, it is what it is.
We just praise for our immortal souls.
I don't know if it made us more sensitive, but yeah.
Yeah, some of us may be too late, but you never know. So we're getting close to the hour. I don't know if you guys have time to go over a little bit. I know some have to get up early in the morning, so want to be respectful of that. But I want to ask of each of you, being your own unique selves and with what you do, what advice would you give to the next generation coming up behind us?
Don't believe everything you see in TV.
First off, yeah.
I mean, investigations take a long time, right? Like, so you watch a 45-minute show and you think, oh, well, all of this stuff happened and that's just crazy. Well, it doesn't. They're usually there for 2 weeks, and that's collective. And like, the paranormal is so much fun, but at the same point, it is a job. Like, I mean, even as our side jobs, like when we do an investigation, there's so many hours of recordings and videos that you have to go through and all of this stuff that you scrutinize afterwards. It all looks like fun on the outside, but sometimes it's like, it's a job.
Yeah, when you've been in there for hours and hours and hours and nothing's happening, because that's the other thing. Like, people do have to realize they're not circus monkeys. Like, whatever this energy is, it's there or it's not. You might get lucky, you might not. It doesn't mean a place isn't haunted or doesn't have things going on. It's just they weren't there that night or they didn't feel like it.
Or even,
but yeah.
Or a place can get over investigated too. We've seen that.
Yeah.
Where really it's just like they just do investigations every night and then we'll go in and nobody wants to talk. And I'm like, you know what? I totally get it. Like, they've been bombarded the whole week. They need a day off too.
I think I would highly
It does make you wonder, do the spirits actually take days off?
Yeah.
Vacation somewhere.
Yeah. And I would say like added on to that, like how Doug was saying, like how, it might not happen all in one night. It might be, it's a process, but then also to document the process would be my recommendation, like, which I try to tell myself too, like, cause we get so, like, you're on site and you're getting excited because you're there and you want to we want to jump right in, but like documentation, because like the months go by quick, the years go by quick, and then it's like just to remember, like, because then we'll remember vaguely, like, oh, what was that EVP or what was that, like, and I think that's like something, like, not just for us as a group, but also everybody else too, like, just to like actually do documentation. Or like I started strong, right? You girls remember I had like a book, like, and
I do too, on and off.
I know I started strong, but then you just get excited, and then like we might have a new like piece of equipment that we're like excited to play with, and I think you also feel the vibes too, right? Like maybe like we just want to be more present, and like we're not like documenting because we want to feel what's around us. So, but I think documentation would be a big one. So
yeah,
no, that's actually helpful.
Anything? So sorry, it's just we're not here to prove. So sometimes we forget. It's like we're doing this for us because we kind of want to figure it out, and we find it really interesting, all the different facets of the paranormal. But at the end of the day, we don't care if people believe us or not. Right. We know what could happen. So that's all that matters to us.
The problem too is with AI right now. I feel like AI, like, there's so many photos out there. Like, I've got my ghost photos. I know for a fact I took those. I didn't doctor them up. I could put them through scans. Nothing. I never, ever touched those things. But it's like you see some of them on, some of Facebook or whatever. And I'm part of a lot of the different, paranormal groups that they invite you to. And I see all these photos in it. And then I question it because obviously I wasn't there and I didn't take it. And now there's all these apps where you can add a ghost to your picture, and so it's so hard to know what is true and what's not. And for us personally, why would we do that? We're trying to figure something out. So why would I doctor something up to fake it? Because we're all trying to figure out the truth, not make up, fake beliefs. So
Exactly. And I always tell people, why fake it? It's so cool when it's so real. You don't need to fake it. But yeah, and so real quick, we're talking, we hit on ufology and cryptids. What is your guys' favorite cryptids that you want to necessarily research, not necessarily meet in person? And what type of UFO experience would you love to have?
Well, I mean, eventually it would be really cool for us to at least see signs of Bigfoot. Like I said, don't necessarily have to meet him in person, but we believe he's interdimensional because it just doesn't make any sense that there's no bones, there's no bodies. They're there, they're not there, they're big. I mean, yes, they're still finding new animal species and things can hide, but I don't know. I'm kind of more on is Bigfoot more on the UFO side of the cryptid thing? Kind of. UFOs we've seen in the sky, but I don't need to be encountering them, not being probed or anything.
I don't want to be probed. I'm good with that.
You have the shirt.
I don't even need to be taken up to the spaceship. We're good.
No, it's
Except
okay.
for lately in 2025, I've been kind of thinking it might be a better option, but it's like, just beam me up, Scotty.
I know. I mean, I do say that often.
Like
a vacation, man. I would take it.
A long vacation. So we have a legend, I guess, like a legendary cryptid. I don't know if it's actually a cryptid, considered a cryptid, but we brought it up on another podcast. But we do like the puckwudgies. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah, we have those.
Yeah, we do have those. Those are little like almost like troll like critters that just like to fool around with you. They're a little bit
stuff, move stuff. Yeah, peek around corners. Yeah, we've actually seen them, but they were making fun of the name because they thought we said something else. I think
a wedgie,
wedgie or something.
Puck wedgies.
Puck wedgies.
Yeah, you guys are lucky. We have the Wendigos over here.
Oh.
That is Dogman.
Creepy.
Yeah, Dogman's creepy too. I don't think I'd really want to run into Dogman.
Yeah, no.
I like dogs, but not Dogman.
So how about you, Squirrel?
I think for me, because I do a lot of running outside, so I run through trails, and I always think like maybe today's the day. I'll see Bigfoot. Like, I mean, just because for me, like this. So when we talk about being like skeptical, what does Brian say? Skeptical believer? Is that what it is? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's like so I feel like I still have that skepticism. So I'd like to see, like, it would be nice, like so. But yeah, as far as UFOs though, like I don't. That's another thing too. I don't think I've even seen one. Like I tell you girls all the time, like I don't think I really like have seen it. So maybe I'm not really looking hard enough. But
July 4th, baby girl. That's when you gotta be looking up at the sky and not the fireworks. They love the fireworks. Michelle and I were joking about it the other day. I think that because she saw one the other day when you were watching the fireworks.
Yeah.
And I saw one when I was on Block Island at the top of a hill, and
which we also saw in Rhode Island. Yeah, which Block Island is off Rhode Island, but I was at her house and I saw the same thing.
It was this thing zipping around.
Well, it was like this glowing orange in the sky, and at first I thought it was like, the firework went up and it was a dud and it was hovering, and then it just started moving and doing weird things, and then she sent me something. I'm like, oh my god, I'm watching the same thing. This is crazy.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I go up north to go camping out in the middle of nowhere, so my boyfriend and I have seen weird shit in the sky, doing very weird maneuvers in the middle of the night, but that's close enough for me. But
I mean, we tried the CE5, but that was a really buggy night.
Yeah.
So like CE5, where you're trying to connect with, the UFOs and trying to kind of like, you almost like meditate. You go into a meditative state and you try to bring them down. But we were outside and it was buggy, like they were eating us alive where there was no meditation going on. It was terrible.
A lot of slapping. That's it.
Yeah, we were like, oh, it was terrible. We're all moving around.
I can see the UFOs were coming and going. There's a lot of smell of death over here. We're going to veer off and go over here instead.
That girl has red bumps all over her. What's that all about?
They're swatting the air. I think we're going to turn around and go back.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just they do like the fireworks. We were joking about that. I was like, yeah, they're like, oh, those those people put on a good show on July 4th. Let's go check that out again. But I don't know. I mean, I don't really want to, like I said, I don't want to be too close.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely have to have you guys back on again. This was a lot of fun. And where can people find your evidence or videos or anything you guys put out?
We have Instagram, like, so we're big on, like, we're so it's at Soul Sisters Supernatural on there. We also have Facebook, of course. We're trying to get the YouTube going, but it's hard when we're working. We're three hardworking ladies.
Yeah.
So right now we're just trying to get together in August. So we just want to see each other. So yeah, but to find us, so we have upcoming. So we're hoping in August to do an investigation, which will be fun. So,
we are actually, yeah, we're scheduled.
It's confirmed.
Yeah,
we're
gonna be doing a restaurant. It's just us going in.
I'm not sure if I can say the name at the moment.
No, I wouldn't say the name just yet. But
I wouldn't either, because you don't want people crashing it either.
Yeah, no, but we are doing a restaurant next month, so that should be pretty cool.
They kind of asked us to come in, so we're excited about that.
Time we've done that, I think. So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. And so anything else upcoming that you guys want to share besides going to Ireland, which I gladly volunteer services as a bellhop, carrying bags?
No, I mean, honestly, this year has been crazy busy, I feel like, for all of us. And like my work has me traveling a lot. As you know, I'm the one who has to get up to go to Miami tomorrow. But yeah, it's just been kind of hectic, but we're definitely trying to fit in as much as we can. And I think Ireland's going to take a lot of it's almost like 10 days or something.
12.
Is it 12 days?
12. We're going back to the Wayside Inn the end of February next year. We already booked those 2 rooms, so that should be good. But
we have a couple of things on our list.
We just haven't yet. There was a place we want to do, but they're doing some construction right now, so we have to wait on that.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about getting back into Wilson Castle because to revisit it because we've
That's
invested.
what we're trying to do this year too.
Yeah. So we're trying to, since that's in Vermont, so it's at least in the Northeast for us. So it's Northeast is usually good for the 3 of us.
It's only like 3 to 4 hour drive or something. Not too crazy.
Yeah, for me, 3 to 4 hour drive. I'm still in the same state.
You're still in Texas.
Yeah. There's only one way I could travel and be out of Texas in an hour and a half. All the rest, I'm still in Texas in 3 to 5 hours. No, and I love my state. It's hot and actually storming right now, so I'm actually surprised we held.
We made it.
We made it.
Able to get the episode in.
We did it.
So all jinxing aside, take a deep breath. We made it. No, I really would like to have you guys back on because I feel like there's more we could talk about and get more into the UFO and cryptid side because that, ironically, being in the paranormal, it's hard to get guests who really want to cover those 2 topics. It's always one or the other, and they're like, don't want to go to both.
Well, that's why we are the Supernatural. Yeah. We involve everything, all things.
I feel like you guys are like the Winchester sisters.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, we like that.
I like.
We definitely like our Supernatural. Yeah. We like our Winchester boys.
Yeah, see you guys drive up in the car, be like, oh boy, something's going down tonight.
And we would be playing the loud music. Like, that would be kind of us in a way.
All right, well, thank you for coming on, and thank you to everybody in the chat room. And I know Kimberly has to get up, so we're going to call it. And just be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the channel, and you'll see when they come back on, if they choose to come back on.
Oh, we will. Definitely.
Yeah.
This was fun.
I'm glad you guys had fun. And so with that, I'm going to say goodnight to everyone, and safe trips to you, Kimberly, and
Thank you.
Michelle and Squirrel. Have a fun week and don't work too hard.
You neither.
Yes, you neither, Michael.
Thank you. That's the goal.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yes. Thank you so much. And we'll definitely come back on.
Thank you. And thank you for trusting me to come on.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah.
Good night,
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.